Hey guys, I am still here at Experior Financial Group's annual convention here at the Irvine Center in Dallas, Texas, and I am here with my main man, Blake from F&G. And Blake, you want to tell everybody what your title is?
Yes, National Account Manager here at F&G, dedicated to working with Experior.
Thank you so much for helping me make this video. I've got clients and so many agents, right, that are struggling with the IUL and what the IUL product is. So I just want to just ask you, just two questions. Can you, with your experience, right, can you explain what an IUL actually is? And the second part, can you explain what you think is the number one benefit that an IUL can provide, especially my clients?
Absolutely. So IUL stands for Index Universal Life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a form of permanent life insurance that is very flexible to fit your client's needs. So obviously it has the permanent death benefit, but we can structure that with a flexible premium. So if your clients want to overfund and build massive cash value in their policy, they can get a lower death benefit and overfund the policy. And also get a higher death benefit if that's what their family needs. And that cash value is growing based on the performance of an index fund. So in the IUL, the most common index fund is the S&P 500.
S&P, yeah.
Now these indexes have a floor with downside protection. So if the market, if the S&P is negative, a crash happens like 2008, your clients do not get negative interest applied to their policy and their cash value. There's a floor.
Right. Now that's what many of them don't understand, the 0% floor. Thank you for pointing that out.
And then the trade-off for that in a lot of cases is something called a cap rate.
A cap.
Or a ceiling. So what you're looking for, the number one thing is how much upside does my cash value have? If the cap rate is common one you'll see is 9, 10, 11, 12%.
Right.
With F&G, we have a pretty high cap on our S&P at 12%, one of the higher ones in the industry. However, we also have this Morgan Stanley index, which is
that is high.
Morgan Stanley is completely uncapped.
Wasn't it there's another one too. Was it BlackRock?
BlackRock,
That's
yes.
uncapped too?
Both are uncapped. Wow. BlackRock is more steady, consistent return. So it's uncapped. It has good upside. Morgan Stanley is based on the performance of the S&P and the NASDAQ. So you get tremendous upside in that index, which leads to really, really strong cash growth, which is really what our Path Setter policy is designed for. The other big thing you want to look for that I don't know if as many people realize is what is the loan rate? What are we charging when you go to access your money? It's one thing to accumulate, but decumulating and using that money while we're alive, right? Retirement income, funding kids' college, things like that, right? So it's a great fit for juveniles. Build up money, their parents put premium in, and then they have money to use when they're in their 20s, student loans, payment for a house, first wedding, things like that, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that because I have a lot of clients that have children.
Yes.
And can you talk about how advantageous it would be for them to take that money, take that annual premium, and then put it inside of the Path Setter or the IUL product instead of doing business with instead of just putting it into a Gerber Life or just a regular children's
incredibly
fund.
Valuable. A juvenile. I've run illustrations for young children, right? Newborns, 1, 2 years old. You put $100 a month in even, and they're going to have between 25, 30 years old, 50, 100,000 of cash value they can pull from. Like,
wow, are you guys hearing this?
I'm 29. And I ran an illustration recently, 1 year old, $100 a month. If my parents had done that when I was born, I would have like 90,000 right now I could pull from tax free, right? Think about when you're in your 20s how hard life is, especially getting started out of college. If you're out of college, you got 40, 50K tax free cash you can pull from. A little bit older, even more, like that could change your life.
That's
right?
It changed mine.
As difficult, difficult as life can be at that age. So massive. Give your, parents and grandparents want to do something for their kids, they don't know what to do.
We talked about a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Because before we did this video, we said we were going to cut it off at 2 minutes, but we just talking. But with everything that you just said, you talked about flexibility, cash accumulation, making your children millionaires by the time they're 20 or 30. We talked about tax-free withdrawals. What do you think, though, Blake, is the number one benefit that an IUL would provide just a general person, whether they're in corporate America or self-employed?
A option they can use to customize for their needs that can supplement whether they're employed, because a lot of people have 401ks for their jobs. And if you're self-employed, you don't have that, right? So a retirement program you can fund, no matter your income, you're not limited on what you can contribute. And it supplements, because this money's growing tax-free. So it supplements a 401k, for example, really well.
Yeah.
My employer might match my 401k 5%. That's awesome. You're getting free money. You should probably save more than 5% for your retirement.
You most definitely should.
And now you have a tax-deferred 401k vehicle, tax-free IUL. And now
Yeah,
you have both growing at
great.
the same time.
And you know what I just thought of? Living benefits.
Yeah.
The majority of my business owners cannot even afford long-term care.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about my clients that are in corporate America. When they retire, they may not be able to afford a long-term care plan as well. So,
Absolutely.
guys, and Blake is just confirming this, the IUL is going to give you substantial living benefits that'll cover any critical, chronic, or terminal illness. If you need more information on, what those illnesses are or what, the complexities of them, then just give me a call. Blake, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carmen.
You're awesome for always supporting me and my team with illustrations. This is my guy for F&G. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.